This is Behind the Bench with Iceman, with sports talk, money talk, political talk, and a whole lot of back talk. Coming at you with a bias and a bad attitude, here's Iceman.
Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Beautiful Saturday, and we got college football back today, and we could not be more excited. Hi, my name's Evan Lotz. I'm the Iceman, and you're going Behind the Bench with Iceman. Today, college football back on the market. Now, you could say college football has been back for a week or so, but I'll disagree with you because I think the real excitement starts today. We got tons of action going on. Michigan and Notre Dame, the team up north, I should say, and Notre Dame will be playing today, as well as Alabama will be opening against Louisville. Virginia Tech will be taking on Florida State tonight at 7 o'clock. And we got a lot of excitement still yet to be played. But let's first go over some of the final scores today. First off, Ohio State defeats Oregon State by a final score of 77 to 31. Now, you got to look at the stats here to find out what was the tail of this game. Excuse me, I just got an alert here that Maryland has upset number 23 ranked University of Texas Longhorns in Austin. So the Texas Longhorns have been upset by a final score of 34 to 29. Maryland was down 29 to 24 going into the fourth quarter and ended up pulling out the victory 34 to 29. That's a big upset, and that's some big rep for the Big Ten. Now let's move along here, taking a look at some of the story of the game here at Ohio State. Ohio State, Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback now for Ohio State, 319 yards with 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. That 1 interception came on a very goofy play. So Dwayne Haskins, sitting at the 24-yard line, drops back, throws incomplete pass to the middle, takes another snap, third down, throws the ball, picked off, then taken for about 30 yards for Oregon State, whereupon this Oregon State defenseman, who I'm currently lacking on the name, fumbles the ball, and then another Oregon State player, I don't exactly remember his position or his name either, my apologies for that, picks up the fumbled ball by his own teammate and takes it all the way into Ohio State territory, and then Ohio State gives them a 3-and-out and they have to kick a field goal. But that's how they got to 31. But a lot of interesting things here. That's what came off the Dwayne Haskins interception. Let's take a look at Mike Weber. Mike Weber's stats, 20 carries, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns. So Ohio State's rushing was unstoppable today. Could not stop Ohio State on the ground, and you couldn't really stop them in the air either. Ohio State was unstoppable, and that's what happens when you put up 11 touchdowns, 77 points. McLaurin, 4 receptions, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got one to open the season. For the season scoring for Ohio State, and didn't stop there. And now on the defensive side, Nick Bosa, who is scheduled to have a monster year for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Nick Bosa now with several tackles, a fumble recovery in the end zone. So that would have been Blunt took the snap for Oregon State, fumbled the ball at his own 3, whereupon it was picked up by Nick Bosa, his younger brother of Joey Bosa. So Nick Bosa scooped up the ball, walked it into the end zone for a score for the Buckeyes. And on Oregon State's side, Pierce, the running back, 11 attempts. 11 carries, 168 yards. That's not a bad performance. He's averaging just a little bit over 10 yards per carry, so that's pretty solid. Unfortunately, it did come in a 77 to 31 loss for Oregon State. However, you could be seeing a lot from this kid in the future, especially if he's putting up those numbers on Ohio State's defense. 2 touchdowns for him as well. The original starting quarterback was injured for Oregon State, and that drove in Blunt, and Blunt did mediocre in his backup role, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, and, not too bad against an Ohio State defense. Looking forward for Ohio State, Ohio State will be playing Rutgers, who are in the Big Ten, but Rutgers will normally be in conference play, I would say, for Ohio State. But it looks like Ohio State has scheduled them to be a tune-up game of sorts tune-up game being a game against a much weaker opponent that you're expected to win. However, it is college football. Anything can happen, and anything can happen in the Big Ten. Ohio State will play in the Horseshoe at 3:30 next Saturday. Then moving on to the 15th, 2 Saturdays from now, Ohio State will take on number 16 TCU. And TCU won their own game 55-7 today. So the new AP rankings will be out in a day or two. We will have to take a look, and I will be tweeting and posting a new video on Monday about the college football wrap-up from the weekend. I'm just breaking down what I see right now. And now that game will be played at 8 o'clock. This will not be in the Horseshoe, and it will not be at Texas Christian. It will be played in Arlington Stadium, the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, excuse me. So that is a neutral site game, but it doesn't seem all neutral to me. Buckeye fans travel well, but this is in the heart of Texas, and Texas Christian, while it still may be a drive because Texas is an ever-expanding state, TCU is far closer than Ohio State. Then on the 22nd, Ohio State will close out their Horseshoe visit, homestand, so to speak, or not going on the road against Tulane. That will be another one of their tune-up games. Then Big Ten play begins starting on the 29th of September when they take on Penn State, who currently are locked in a battle with Appalachian State. Stay tuned Monday to find out how that game goes. So Ohio State then goes to Indiana, plays home, against Indiana, and Minnesota then takes a travel back to Indiana to take on Purdue. Then they're home against Nebraska, and then they're at Michigan State, at Maryland, and then home against the team up north. Big game this season. Michigan State, I'm a little nervous. They've had our number the past couple of years, and Michigan State playing in East Lansing, Michigan, that's tough. That's tough for Ohio State. But we will keep you updated with all that here at Behind the Bench. Now, let's take a look around the league with some other finals from the past couple of hours now. First off, Michigan and Notre Dame, like I said, that game's just about to get underway. A couple of finals. Michigan State defeats Utah State 38-31. They struggled. Michigan State at one point was down 31-30 in the fourth quarter against Utah State, but Michigan State did prove that they were worthy of that win. However, I'm still nervous for Michigan State coming up in I believe that was week 9. And then Wisconsin, number 4 ranked overall, which is higher than number 5 Ohio State. Numbers, I'm glad you know that I can count now. Wisconsin has no struggle with Western Kentucky rolling over them 34-3. And then UCF continues their win streak with a win over Connecticut 56-17. Like I said, some of the games tonight include Virginia Tech, Florida State, Louisville and Alabama, and Michigan and Notre Dame, or I should say the team up north and Notre Dame. A couple of quick scores now around the Big Ten. The Rutgers defeated Texas State 35-7. A little bit earlier today, and Illinois defeats Kent State 31-24. And like I said, Appalachian State is locked in a battle with Penn State at present. Reminder that Appalachian State did defeat Michigan a couple of years back and seems to have the Big Ten's number. So Appalachian State as a home opener, giving Penn State some trouble. Now let's switch over to a little bit of NFL action. As the preseason wraps up, we go into week 1. Now, first, the opening game will be the Falcons taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That game will be Thursday in 5 days at 7:20 Central, 8:20 Eastern. So that's when kickoff will be set. Nick Foles will be taking snaps for the Eagles while Carson Wentz still repairs and becomes healthy. The Bengals, for all my Cincinnati fans out there, will be taking on the Colts in Indianapolis on Sunday at high noon. As well, another matchup on Sunday at noon, that will be the Steelers taking on the Browns. The Browns looking to prove that they're not going to be an 0-16 team this year. We will see what they can do against the Steelers. And then the Bears take on the Packers this Sunday in Green Bay at 7:20. The Bears newly acquired they newly acquired Khalil Mack for a couple of first-round picks. And let me tell you, the Bears defense looks unstoppable. Now let's take a quick look over to NHL before we head out for the rest of the day. Boston and Calgary will be opening the NHL preseason 2 weeks from today with a game at 2:30 in the morning Eastern time. Yes, 2:30 in the morning, that's 1:30 Central. This game will be played in Shenzhen, China. That is the Shenzhen province or the city of Shenzhen. My apologies, I'm not really good on my Chinese geography. But Boston will be taking on Calgary as part of the NHL Chinese series. So that will be continuing for them. And then Boston heads back home the next day to take on the defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals in Boston at 1 o'clock. And then on Monday, September 17th, so 2 weeks and 2 days from today, Buffalo will be taking on Columbus in Nationwide Arena. Jack Eichel will be coming in for the Sabres, as well as Sergei Bobrovsky and Artemi Panarin and everybody else that we need to sign a contract desperately for the Blue Jackets. We need to get some contract decisions made. That game's at 7 o'clock. And then Chicago will be taking on Columbus at Nationwide Arena at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 18th as well. Chicago will be returning the favor and hosting the Columbus Blue Jackets on the 29th. That will be a Saturday, the 29th of September, where Big Meech and myself will be in attendance. Well, that'll about do it here for this special Saturday Ohio State / college football Behind the Bench with Iceman podcast. I got to come up with a better name for that. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, be sure to check out Twitter. I post on there daily, much more than I post on here, much more often than I post here on YouTube. And be sure to submit your questions and comments below. Always be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new podcast drops. And now we're going to take a quick look before we go at this gorgeous video of Ohio Stadium. All right, thank you to Ashley Hoover for taking that wonderful video and sending that in to me. Looks like you had a great time at the Ohio State game. Well, that'll do it for me. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.